Jake Morrison sat in the corner of Murphy's tavern. Rain hit the windows hard. The sound was loud and angry, just like how Jake felt inside. He looked at his watch. 3 in the afternoon. This was supposed to be the best day of his life. Instead, it was the worst. His wedding dress hung in his apartment closet. The flowers were already dead. The church was empty. All the guests had gone home hours ago. Katie was gone. She left him a note 3 days ago that said she needed space. Then she disappeared. Jake took another drink of whiskey. It burned his throat, but he did not care. The pain felt good. It was better than the empty feeling in his chest. "Another one?" asked the bartender. Jake looked up. The man behind the bar was older, maybe 50 or 60 years old. He had gray hair and scars on his face, but something about him looked familiar. Very familiar. "Sure," Jake said. "Why not? It's not like I have anywhere to go." The bartender poured more whiskey into Jake's glass. "Bad day?" "The worst," Jake said. "I was supposed to get married today, but my bride ran away 3 days ago. No explanation, no goodbye. Just a stupid note," the bartender nodded. "Women can be complicated." "Katie wasn't complicated," Jake said. "She was perfect. We had everything planned. The house, the kids, the whole future. Then she just left." Jake drank more whiskey. The room was starting to spin a little. He had been drinking for hours. "What's your name?" the bartender asked. "Jake Morrison." "You?" The bartender smiled. It was a strange smile, like he knew a secret. "Most people call me Murphy, but my real name is Jake Morrison, too." Jake almost choked on his drink. "What? That's impossible." "Look at me closer," Murphy said. Jake stared at the man's face. The eyes were the same color as his own. The shape of the nose was the same. Even the way he smiled was the same. It was like looking in a mirror, but the mirror showed him as an old man. "This is crazy," Jake said. "You look just like me." "That's because I am you," Murphy said. "I'm you from 40 years in the future." Jake laughed. It was not a happy laugh. "Right, and I'm the president. This whiskey must be stronger than I thought." Murphy reached under the bar. He pulled out a small metal device that glowed with blue light. "Does this look familiar?" Jake had never seen anything like it. It looked like something from a science fiction movie. "No, should it?" "You will," Murphy said. "Very soon." Before Jake could ask what that meant, the door of the tavern burst open. Rain and wind blew in. A woman stood in the doorway. She was wearing strange clothes that looked like armor. Her hair was shorter than he remembered. Her face was harder, like she had seen terrible things. It was Katie. "Jake," she shouted. She looked around the room until she saw him. "We need to go. Right now." "They found us." Jake stood up too fast. The room spun. "Katie? Where have you been? What are you wearing? What's going on?" Katie ran to him. Behind her, the doorway was filled with strange blue light. It crackled like electricity. "There's no time to explain," she said. "The hegemony tracked me here. We have maybe 2 minutes before they break through." "The what?" Jake asked. Murphy reached under the bar again. This time he pulled out what looked like a gun, but it glowed with the same blue light as the device. "Right on schedule," he said calmly. "Katie, what about the portal generator?" "Burned out," Katie said. "The jump here fried all the circuits. We're stuck." "Portal generator? Jump? Katie, what are you talking about?" Jake felt like he was going crazy. The windows of the tavern started to shake. The blue light outside was getting brighter. Then Jake heard a sound like thunder, but it went on and on. "They're here," Katie said. Murphy tossed Jake another strange gun. "Congratulations, kid. Your real wedding starts now." Jake caught the weapon. It was heavier than it looked. "My what?" The front windows exploded. Glass flew everywhere. Jake dove behind a table. Through the broken windows, he could see shapes moving in the blue light. They were not human shapes. "What the hell is going on?" Jake screamed. Murphy was behind the bar shooting the glowing gun at the windows. Each shot made a sound like a small explosion. "Welcome to the rest of your life, Jake. Hope you're ready for an adventure." Katie crawled over to Jake. "Listen to me," she said. "I know this is confusing. I know you're scared, but I need you to trust me." "Can you do that?" Jake looked at her face. Even though she looked different, even though nothing made sense, she was still Katie. The woman he loved. The woman he was supposed to marry today. "Yes," he said. "Good. When I count to 3, we run for the back door. Murphy has a way out." "But what about 1?" Katie said. The things outside were making noise now. It sounded like animals, but wrong somehow. 2. Murphy stopped shooting and looked at them. Move fast, stay low. And Jake, yeah? Welcome to the war. 3. Katie grabbed Jake's hand. They ran toward the back of the tavern. Jake still had the strange gun in his other hand. Behind them, the front of the building was filled with blue light and terrible sounds. At the back door, Murphy was waiting. He had another glowing device in his hands. When he pressed a button, the door opened. But instead of the alley that should have been there, Jake saw stars. Actual stars in space. This is impossible, Jake said. Kid, Murphy said with that strange smile, you ain't seen nothing yet. Katie pushed Jake through the door. As they stepped into space, Jake felt his life change forever. The wedding he had planned was gone. But something much bigger was just beginning. Behind them, Murphy's tavern disappeared in a flash of light. Ahead of them was the biggest spaceship Jake had ever seen. It was waiting for them, floating in the darkness between the stars. Welcome to the rebellion, Katie said. Sorry about the wedding, but I promise the honeymoon is going to be amazing. Jake looked at the gun in his hand, then at Katie, then at the spaceship. This morning he had been a heartbroken man with no future. Now he was flying through space with weapons he did not understand and a woman who claimed to be from the future. It was crazy. It was impossible. It was terrifying. It was also the most alive he had felt in years. Jake woke up in a bed that was not his own. The ceiling above him was made of metal. Strange lights moved across it in patterns he did not understand. For a moment he thought he was dreaming. Then he remembered the tavern, the blue light, and Katie. He sat up fast. His head hurt. The room was small and clean. It looked like a hospital room, but more advanced. Everything was white and silver. You're awake, said a voice. Jake turned. Katie was sitting in a chair next to his bed. She was still wearing the strange armor, but she had taken off the helmet. Her hair was definitely shorter than he remembered. There were small scars on her face that had not been there before. How long was I asleep? Jake asked. About 6 hours, Katie said. The medical bay gave you something to help with the shock. Traveling through space for the first time can be hard on the body. Jake looked around the room. This is real, isn't it? I'm really on a spaceship. Yes, Katie said. This is the UHS Defiance. It's our home base. Our? Katie stood up. She walked to the window. Outside, Jake could see stars and other spaceships floating in the darkness. Jake, I need to tell you the truth, all of it. It's going to sound crazy, but you need to know. Jake got out of bed. He was wearing simple gray clothes instead of his wedding suit. I think I'm past worrying about crazy. Katie took a deep breath. I'm from the future, 40 years from now. In my time, humanity discovered faster than light travel. We thought we were ready to meet other species in the galaxy. We were wrong. She pressed a button on the wall. The window became a screen. It showed pictures of alien creatures. They were tall and thin with too many arms. Their skin looked like metal. These are the hegemony, Katie said. They rule most of the galaxy. When they found Earth, they didn't want to trade with us or be friends. They wanted to kill us. Why? Jake asked. Because we scare them, Katie said. Other species in the galaxy are specialists. Each one is good at one thing. Some are strong. Some are smart. Some are fast. But humans are different. We're good at everything. We adapt, we learn. We survive things that should kill us. The screen showed more pictures. Human spaceships fighting alien ones. Cities burning. People running. The war has been going on for 20 years, Katie said. We're losing. But we're not giving up. We never give up. That's what makes us human. Jake felt sick. So you came back in time to change things? Yes, Katie said. I was supposed to recruit you in the original timeline. You became one of our best fighters. But I made a mistake. I fell in love with you. I wanted a normal life. I thought maybe we could be happy and forget about the war. The door to the room opened. A woman in a uniform walked in. She was older than Katie, maybe 40 years old. She had short black hair and serious eyes. There were medals on her uniform. You must be Jake, the woman said. I'm Commander Lisa Hayes. Welcome to the rebellion. Jake shook her hand. This is all real, isn't it? Very real, Lisa said. And very dangerous. Katie tells me you're having trouble believing it. Wouldn't you? Jake asked. Lisa smiled. It was not a happy smile. When I was your age, I was a school teacher. Then the aliens came. They destroyed my city, killed my family. I had two choices. Give up and die or learn to fight. I chose to fight. She pressed another button. The screen showed a different picture. It was Earth, but it looked wrong. Parts of it were black and burned. This is what Earth looks like in our time, Lisa said. 3 billion people dead. Most of our city's gone. But we're still fighting. Because that's what humans do. Jake sat down hard. 3 billion people? We've learned something important, Lisa said. Humans are not like other species. When we're pushed to the edge, we don't break. We get creative. We find ways to win that no one else would think of. Katie sat next to Jake. The aliens keep asking themselves the same question. How do you kill something that learns from dying? Every time they beat us, we figure out how they did it, Lisa said. Then we make sure it doesn't work again. Every defeat teaches us something new. Every loss makes us stronger. Jake looked at both women. So what do you need me for? In the original timeline, you and Katie became a team, Lisa said. You developed new ways to fight. Small human groups beating much larger alien forces. You gave people hope? But this isn't the original timeline, Katie said. When I came back to save you, I changed things. Now we don't know what will happen. Lisa walked to the window. Come here, Jake, I want to show you something. Jake joined her at the window. She pointed to one of the other spaceships. It looked different from the alien ships he had seen in the pictures. It was rough and patched together. That's the UHS Freedom, Lisa said. 6 months ago, it was an alien prison ship. The humans inside took it over with nothing but spare parts and determination. Now it's one of our best fighters. She pointed to another ship. That's the UHS Hope, built by farmers from Iowa who learned to be engineers in 3 weeks. Jake saw more ships. Dozens of them. They all looked different, like they had been built by different people with different ideas. The aliens build their ships to be perfect, Lisa said. Each one exactly like the others. Humans build ships that work. They're not pretty, but they get the job done. How many of us are there? Jake asked. Here? About 5,000, Lisa said. In the whole rebellion? Maybe 50,000. The aliens have billions of soldiers. Then how do we win? Katie stood up. By being human. Watch this. She led Jake to another room. This one was full of people working on machines. They were humans, but they looked different from each other. Some were young, some were old. Some wore military uniforms, others wore normal clothes. Ben Carter. Katie pointed to a man working on a small fighter ship. World War II pilot. He learned to fly in space in 3 days. Amy Rodriguez. She pointed to a young woman at a computer. She's teaching our computers to think like humans. The aliens can't understand it. Danny Walsh. She pointed to a man with tools. He can fix anything. The aliens build machines that only work one way. Danny makes them work better. Jake watched the people working. They were talking and laughing while they worked. Some were singing. Others were telling jokes. The aliens don't understand us, Katie said. They think war should be serious and formal. Humans make war personal. We fight for each other. We fight for home. We fight because it's the right thing to do. Lisa joined them. Jake, I'm going to tell you something that might sound impossible. We're not just fighting to survive. We're fighting to change the galaxy. What do you mean? The aliens have ruled for thousands of years, Lisa said. They have their places and their rules. Nothing ever changes. But humans bring change wherever we go. We make allies out of enemies. We find solutions no one else can imagine. Jake looked around the room again. So what happens now? Now you decide, Katie said. You can stay here and fight with us, or we can send you somewhere safe. It's your choice. Jake thought about his old life, his job, his apartment, his plans for the future. All of it seemed small now compared to what he was seeing. If I stay, what would I do? Whatever you're good at, Lisa said. We don't have enough people to waste anyone. If you can learn, we can teach you. Jake looked at Katie. In the original timeline, we got married. Yes, she said. And we were happy. Even in the middle of a war, we found ways to be happy. Then I stay, Jake said. Katie smiled. It was the first real smile he had seen from her since she came to the tavern. Welcome to the rebellion, Jake Morrison, Lisa said. Hope you're ready to save the galaxy. Jake looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there were aliens who wanted to kill every human. But here, surrounded by people who refused to give up, he felt something he had not felt in days. Hope. Jake's first week on the Defiance was like drinking from a fire hose. Every day brought new things to learn. How to use the strange weapons, how to read the computer screens, how to move in zero gravity without throwing up. But the hardest thing to learn was how different humans were from everything else in the galaxy. "Look at this," Amy Rodriguez said. She was showing Jake how the ship's computers worked. On the screen was a picture of an alien spaceship. It was smooth and silver like a perfect egg. "Every alien ship looks exactly like this one," Amy said. "Same size, same shape, same weapons, same everything." She pressed a button. The screen now showed human ships. They were all different. Some were big, some were small. Some had extra weapons stuck on the sides. Others had strange devices that Jake could not identify. "Humans don't build things the same way twice," Amy said. "We always think we can make it better." Jake watched Amy work. She was typing commands that made no sense to him. But the computer seemed to understand her perfectly. "How did you learn to do this?" he asked. "I used to fix phones and computers back home," Amy said. "When I got here, I figured alien computers couldn't be that different." "I was right. But how do you know what buttons to press?" Amy grinned. "I don't. I just try things until something works." The aliens hate that. Their programmers spend years learning the right way to do everything. I just make it up as I go. Later that day, Jake met Ben Carter in the fighter bay. Ben was an old man, maybe 70 years old, but he moved like someone much younger. "You want to learn to fly?" Ben asked. "I've never even been in a plane," Jake said. "Good," Ben said. "That means you don't have any bad habits to unlearn." Ben showed Jake into a small fighter ship. It had 2 seats and more controls than Jake could count. "This used to be an alien ship," Ben said. "We captured it and made some improvements." "What kind of improvements?" Ben pressed a button. Music started playing. It was loud rock music. "The aliens don't understand music," Ben said. "They think it's just noise. But humans fight better with music. Makes us feel brave." He pressed another button. A small door opened in the control panel. Inside was a coffee maker. "And humans need coffee," Ben said. "Can't fight a war without coffee?" Jake laughed. "You put a coffee maker in a fighter ship?" "Danny's idea," Ben said. "That boy can put a coffee maker anywhere." They took the fighter out for a practice flight. Ben let Jake try to fly it. Jake was terrible. He crashed into an asteroid. He flew upside down by accident. "He got lost twice. Don't worry," Ben said. "You're doing better than most. The aliens spend months learning to fly perfectly. Humans just need to fly good enough to win." That night, Jake had dinner with Katie and some of the other rebels. The food was strange but good. It was made from plants that grew on the ship. "Tell me about the aliens," Jake said. "What are they really like?" Danny Walsh looked up from his plate. "Scared," he said. "Scared of us?" "Scared of everything," said a woman named Carol Stone. She was a doctor. "They've been in charge for so long they don't know how to handle change. Each alien species has been the same for millions of years," Katie explained. "They evolved to be perfect at one thing. Then they stopped evolving. They've been exactly the same for longer than humans have existed. Then we showed up," Ben said with a grin. "Humans have only been around for a few 100,000 years," Carol said, "but we've never stopped changing. We adapt to everything. Hot weather, cold weather, mountains, deserts, islands. We live everywhere. The aliens can't understand it," Amy said. "They keep asking their scientists the same question. How did humans get so good at everything?" Jake thought about that. "What's the answer?" "We're not good at everything," Katie said. "We're not the strongest or the fastest or the smartest, but we're good enough at everything to survive. And we never give up," Danny added. The next day, Jake got to see what that meant. The Defiance received a distress call from a human colony. The aliens had attacked it. Most of the people were captured. "Rescue mission," Lisa announced. "We leave in 1 hour." Jake watched the crew prepare for battle. Everyone had a job. Amy worked on the computers. Ben checked the fighters. Danny made sure all the weapons worked. Carol prepared the medical bay. But they were still just 50 people going to fight thousands of aliens. "Are we really going to try this?" Jake asked Katie. "We're not going to try," Katie said. "We're going to do it." The battle was nothing like Jake expected. He thought it would be organized and formal, like battles in movies. Instead, it was chaos. The human fighters did not fly in formation. They flew in whatever direction would confuse the aliens the most. Ben's ship played music so loud that it jammed alien communications. Amy had programmed the ship's computers to send jokes to the alien ships, which crashed their systems. Danny had modified the rescue shuttles to look like garbage. The aliens ignored them while they landed and picked up the prisoners, and it worked. The aliens were so confused by the human tactics that they spent most of the battle trying to figure out what the humans were doing instead of stopping them. When they got back to the Defiance, Jake was amazed. "How did we win that?" "We didn't win," Lisa said. "We just didn't lose. There's a difference. The aliens want to fight a proper war," Ben explained. "With rules and formations and honor. Humans don't care about proper. We care about effective." Jake spent more time learning about the aliens. He read reports and watched videos. The more he learned, the more he understood why they were afraid. The aliens had built a perfect society. Every species had its place. The strong ones were warriors. The smart ones were scientists. The fast ones were messengers. Everyone knew their role and never changed. But humans were warriors and scientists and messengers all at the same time. They did not fit any category. "Look at this," Amy showed Jake a report. The aliens captured some human engineers. They gave them nothing but scrap metal and told them to build something useful. "What did they build?" "A spaceship," Amy said with a grin. "A working spaceship." In their cell, they were planning to escape and steal the alien prison station. Jake stared at the report. "They built a spaceship in their cell?" "Humans build things," Danny said. "It's what we do. Give us any materials and we'll make something better." "The aliens don't understand creativity," Carol added. "They follow plans that their ancestors made millions of years ago. Humans make new plans every day." That night, Jake could not sleep. He went to the observation deck and looked out at the stars. Katie found him there. "Thinking deep thoughts?" she asked. "Trying to understand," Jake said. "Why us? Why are humans so different?" Katie joined him at the window. "Carol has a theory. She thinks it's because Earth was harder than most planets. Ice ages, volcanoes, meteor strikes. We had to adapt or die. So we learned to adapt to everything. And now we're adapting to space," Katie said. "The aliens think they know how space war works, but we're changing the rules." Jake looked at the other ships in their fleet. Each one was different. Each one had been modified by humans who thought they could make it better. "In the original timeline," Jake said. "Did we win the war?" Katie was quiet for a long moment. "I don't know. I left before it ended. But I know we didn't lose. Humans don't lose. We just find new ways to keep fighting." Jake thought about his old life. His job had been boring but safe. His apartment had been small but comfortable. His biggest worry had been paying bills on time. Now he was on a spaceship learning to fight aliens who wanted to kill every human in the galaxy. "Do you miss it?" Katie asked as if she could read his thoughts. "Miss what?" "Your old life. The safety. The plans we had." Jake thought about it. "Sometimes. But this feels more important." "It is more important," Katie said. "We're not just fighting for ourselves. We're fighting for the idea that different is good. That change is good. That the galaxy is big enough for everyone." Jake looked out at the stars again. Somewhere out there were billions of aliens who thought humans were dangerous. Maybe they were right. But not in the way they thought. Humans were dangerous to their perfect, unchanging order. Humans brought chaos and creativity and the crazy idea that things could always be better. "Katie," Jake said, "I'm glad you came back for me." "Even though I ruined your wedding?" Jake smiled. "Especially because you ruined my wedding. This is much better than spending my life selling insurance." Katie laughed. "Wait until you see what we're planning next." "You're going to think this was the easy part." Jake looked at her. "What are we planning next?" "We're going to show the galaxy what humans are really capable of," Katie said. "And we're going to do it together." 3 months after Jake joined the rebellion, everything changed. It started when Katie woke up screaming. Jake was in the bed next to hers. They had been sharing quarters for 2 weeks now. Not because they were together again, but because the ship was crowded and space was limited. "Katie, what's wrong?" Jake sat up quickly. Katie was shaking. Her face was wet with tears. "I remember," she said. "I remember what happened to you in the original timeline." Jake turned on the lights. Katie looked terrible. Her skin was pale and she could not stop shaking. "Tell me," Jake said. "We got married," Katie said. "On this ship." Lisa performed the ceremony. It was beautiful. We were so happy. She started crying harder. But then the aliens learned about us. They figured out that human relationships made us stronger. So they started targeting couples. They would capture one person and torture them while the other watched. Jake felt cold. "What happened to us?" "They got you," Katie whispered. I watched them kill you slowly to break me, and it worked. For 3 years, I could barely function. I almost gave up fighting entirely. Jake pulled Katie close. She was still shaking. That's why you came back, he said. To save me. To save us both, Katie said. I thought if we never got together, you would be safe. But I was wrong. The timeline is breaking apart. Things are happening that never happened before. The next morning, Katie took Jake to see Murphy. They found him in his temporal pocket bar, which somehow existed inside the Defiance's cargo bay. Murphy was cleaning glasses and humming an old song. Morning, kids, Murphy said. You both look terrible. Murphy, we need to know about the original timeline, Katie said. All of it. Murphy stopped humming. He put down the glass he was cleaning and looked at them with serious eyes. You sure about that? Some things are better left unknown. We need to know, Jake said. Murphy poured 3 glasses of whiskey. Sit down. This is going to take a while. He told them everything. How Jake and Katie's wedding had become a symbol of hope for humans everywhere. How they had developed new fighting techniques that let small human forces defeat much larger alien armies. How their love story had spread through the galaxy, inspiring not just humans but some aliens too. You two weren't just married, Murphy said. You were partners in everything. The aliens called you the Ghost Team because you would appear out of nowhere, win impossible battles, and disappear again. But then they caught us, Katie said. They caught Jake, Murphy corrected. You were too smart to get caught. But Jake was always rushing in to save people. It's what made him a hero. It's also what got him killed. Jake drank his whiskey. It tasted bitter. So in every timeline I die? Not every timeline, Murphy said. In some you both die. In others you never meet. This is the first timeline where you might both live and be together. How is that possible? Katie asked. Murphy smiled. Because this time you have help. He pressed a button on the bar. A screen appeared showing dozens of different rooms. In each room were people who looked like Jake and Katie, but different ages and different clothes. Meet your alternates, Murphy said. I've been collecting versions of you from across multiple timelines. Jake the soldier, Katie the scientist, Jake the pilot, Katie the engineer. All the versions of you that found different ways to fight. Jake stared at the screen. There are so many of us. Every timeline where humans refused to give up, Murphy said. Every version where you two fell in love and fought together. I've been gathering them for 20 years. For what? Katie asked. Murphy's smile got bigger. For the wedding of the century, he explained the plan. It was impossible and crazy and typically human. They were going to coordinate an attack across multiple timelines, not to destroy the aliens, but to force them to see humans as they really were. The aliens think humans are monsters, Murphy said. We're going to show them that we're just people who refuse to give up on each other. The plan centered around Jake and Katie's wedding. They would get married aboard the Defiance, surrounded by all their alternate selves. The ceremony would be broadcast to every corner of the galaxy. It would show aliens everywhere that humans fought not for conquest but for love. While you're getting married, Murphy said, every other version of you will be attacking key alien positions, but not to kill, to disable, to show mercy, to prove that humans can be strong without being cruel. Katie looked at Jake. Are you ready to get married in the middle of a war? Jake took her hand. I've been ready since the day I met you. The next few weeks were the busiest of Jake's life. The ship became a hub of activity as alternates from other timelines started arriving. Each one brought new ideas and new ways of fighting. Jake met a version of himself who was a doctor, another who was a musician, one who was a farmer. They were all different, but they were all recognizably him. Katie's alternates were just as varied. Scientists, warriors, diplomats, teachers, all of them strong in different ways. It's strange, Jake told the doctor version of himself, looking at all these different me's. Not different, the other Jake said. Just focused on different things. We're all the same person underneath. We all love Katie. We all want to protect people. We all hate giving up. The wedding preparations were unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Amy coordinated with her alternates to create a communication network, spanning multiple timelines. Ben worked with other pilots to plan synchronized attacks. Danny and his alternates modified weapons to disable rather than destroy. But the most important preparation was emotional. Jake and Katie had to decide if they really wanted to be together, knowing the dangers. In the original timeline, we were happy, Katie said. Even knowing how it ended, I don't regret it. Then let's not regret this either, Jake said. The night before the wedding, Jake could not sleep. He went to the observation deck and found Katie there looking at the stars. Cold feet? She asked. Terrified feet, Jake admitted. Not of marrying you. Of failing. What if this doesn't work? Then we try something else, Katie said. That's what humans do. But what if I die like the other me did? Katie took his hand. Then I'll grieve for you. And then I'll keep fighting, because that's what you would want me to do. Jake squeezed her hand. And if you die, then you'll cry for me, and then you'll find someone else to love. Because life is too short not to love people. They stood together in the starlight, holding hands and trying not to think about all the ways tomorrow could go wrong. Katie, Jake said, whatever happens tomorrow, I want you to know something. What? This has been the best few months of my life. Even with the war and the aliens and all the craziness. Being with you, fighting beside you, it's made me more than I ever thought I could be. Katie kissed him. Save some poetry for the wedding vows. The wedding day arrived. The Defiance's main hangar had been converted into a chapel. All the alternates were there, along with the regular crew. Lisa was going to perform the ceremony. Jake wore a simple uniform. Katie wore a white dress that Amy had somehow found. It was not fancy, but it was beautiful. As they stood together at the altar, surrounded by friends and alternate versions of themselves, Jake felt something he had never felt before. He felt like he was exactly where he was supposed to be. Do you, Jake Morrison, take Katie to be your wife in this timeline and all others, for better or worse, in peace and war? I do, Jake said. Do you, Katie, take Jake to be your husband in this timeline and all others for better or worse in peace and war? I do, Katie said. Then by the power vested in me by the human rebellion and basic decency, I pronounce you married. They kissed as explosions echoed from outside the ship. The attacks on alien positions had begun, but inside the hangar, surrounded by love and hope and the absolute human refusal to give up, Jake felt like they had already won. The wedding reception was interrupted by alien attack ships. Sorry, folks, Lisa announced over the ship's speakers. Looks like we're getting some uninvited guests. Jake and Katie were still in their wedding clothes when they ran to the bridge. Through the main screen, they could see dozens of alien ships surrounding the Defiance. They traced the timeline signals, Amy said from her station. They know what we're doing. Good, Murphy said calmly. He had appeared on the bridge wearing his bartender clothes. It's time for the grand finale. The alien ships opened fire. But instead of shooting back, the Defiance did something unexpected. It broadcast a signal to every corner of the galaxy. Attention all beings, Katie's voice went out through space. We are humans. We know you think we are monsters. We know you think we are dangerous. You're right. We are dangerous, but not in the way you think. On screens across the galaxy, beings saw the wedding ceremony. They saw humans celebrating love in the middle of a war. They saw Jake and Katie kissing while explosions lit up the space around them. We are dangerous to hate, Katie continued. We are dangerous to despair. We are dangerous to the idea that things cannot change. While Katie spoke, the attacks began. But these were not normal attacks. In a dozen star systems, human forces struck alien military bases. But instead of destroying them, they disabled them. Instead of killing alien soldiers, they captured them and gave them medical care. Amy's team did not just hack alien computers. They taught them to create art. Within hours, alien computer networks were generating poetry and music for the first time in their existence. Ben led fighter squadrons that did not follow any known tactics. They flew in patterns that spelled out words in space, messages of hope and friendship that could be read from planets below. Danny's engineers had modified every human weapon to stun instead of kill. They fought to stop the war, not to win it. But the most effective weapon was the simplest one, humans being human. In the cargo bay of a captured alien ship, human prisoners had built a small garden. They were growing flowers in space. When their alien guards saw the flowers, many of them cried for the first time in their lives. On a distant planet, human farmers shared their food with alien refugees. The aliens had never tasted anything like human cooking. It was chaotic and unpredictable and somehow perfect. Human musicians played concerts on alien worlds. The music was loud and emotional and completely unlike the formal alien songs. Young aliens started dancing to human rhythms, much to their elders' horror, and everywhere humans went, they asked questions that aliens had never thought to ask. Why do we fight? What makes life worth living? Couldn't we be friends instead? The alien leaders watched all of this from their command ships. They did not understand what they were seeing. The humans are winning without winning, one alien admiral said. How is this possible? They are changing the definition of victory, another replied. On the Defiance, the battle was reaching its peak. The alien ships had stopped shooting. They were too busy trying to understand what the humans were doing. Jake, Lisa said, you and Katie need to do something only you two can do. What's that? Jake asked. Talk to them, Lisa said. The alien commanders. They're listening now. Tell them what it means to be human. Jake looked at Katie. She was still in her wedding dress, which now had scorch marks from the battle. Her hair was messy and there was dirt on her face. She looked beautiful. Together? He asked. Always together, she said. They stood in front of the main screen. Across the galaxy, billions of beings watched them. My name is Jake Morrison, Jake said. Yesterday I was nobody special. I sold insurance. I worried about paying bills. I had a small life in a small town. My name is Katie Morrison, Katie said. I used to be a soldier. I've seen terrible things. I've done things I'm not proud of. I came back in time to prevent a war. But we learned something, Jake continued. The war isn't about territory or resources or who's stronger. It's about fear. You're afraid of us because we change things. We're afraid of you because you want to kill us. But fear doesn't have to win, Katie said. Today we chose love instead. We got married in the middle of a battle. We celebrated hope while explosions went off around us, because that's what humans do. Jake took Katie's hand. We don't want to rule the galaxy. We don't want to destroy your civilizations. We just want to live, to love, to build things and explore and meet new friends. We want to show you what we've learned, Katie said. That different isn't dangerous. That change isn't scary. That the galaxy is big enough for all of us. The alien admiral who had been leading the attack appeared on screen. He was tall and thin with silver skin. His eyes were large and dark. Humans, he said slowly. You confuse us. Your tactics make no sense. Your goals are unclear. Your behavior is unpredictable. We know, Jake said. We confuse ourselves sometimes too. But we have seen something today, the admiral continued. We have seen you choose to save rather than destroy, to heal rather than hurt, to create rather than conquer. Katie stepped forward. What are you saying? I am saying that perhaps we were wrong about you, the admiral said. Perhaps the galaxy needs beings who change things. Perhaps the galaxy needs chaos and creativity and the strange human concept of hope. The alien ships powered down their weapons. Around the galaxy, other alien commanders were doing the same thing. What happens now? Jake asked. Now we learn, the admiral said. We learn what it means to be friends with humans. We learn what you can teach us about hope and change and love. The war did not end that day. Wars never end quickly. But something more important began. Aliens started working with humans. They shared technology and ideas and stories. They learned that the galaxy was more interesting with humans in it. Jake and Katie's marriage became the symbol of this new alliance. Their wedding pictures were displayed in schools across the galaxy. Their story was told to children of a dozen different species. But for Jake and Katie, the most important thing was much simpler. They were together. They were alive. And they had proven that love was stronger than fear. Years later, Jake stood in Murphy's tavern again. But now it was a real tavern on a space station near Earth. Human and alien customers sat together, drinking and talking and laughing. Murphy was still tending bar, though he looked a little older. Katie was there too, playing chess with an alien scientist who had become her best friend. Any regrets? Murphy asked Jake. Jake looked around the bar, at the mixed couples holding hands, at the alien children playing human games, at Katie laughing at something her friend had said. Just one, Jake said. What's that? I wish it hadn't taken a war to bring us all together. Murphy smiled. But it did bring us together. And that's what matters. Through the window, Jake could see Earth. It was blue and green and beautiful again. The scars of war were healing. Cities were being rebuilt, bigger and better than before. Humans and aliens worked side by side on construction crews. They learned from each other. They made things neither species could have made alone. It was not perfect. There were still problems and disagreements and occasional fights. But it was better. It was hope made real. Katie joined Jake at the window. "What are you thinking about?" "Just watching the galaxy change," Jake said. "Do you miss the old days? When it was simple and everything made sense?" Jake put his arm around his wife. "The old days were never simple. We just didn't know how complicated they were." Katie laughed. "Very wise, husband." "I learned from the best teacher," Jake said. Outside the window, a ship was leaving Earth. It was a new design, built by humans and aliens working together. It was heading for parts of the galaxy that had never been explored. On board were humans and aliens and hybrids of both species. They were going to see what was out there, to meet new people and discover new worlds and maybe find new friends. "Where do you think they're going?" Katie asked. "Wherever they want," Jake said. "That's the beauty of it. The galaxy is full of possibilities now, and we started it all by getting married in a bar run by your future self." Jake grinned. "Best wedding ever," Katie kissed him. "Best everything ever." They stood together watching the ships come and go, watching the galaxy become a place where love was stronger than fear, where different was celebrated instead of destroyed, where hope was always possible. It had taken a war to teach them that. But humans had always been good at learning from difficult lessons. And now they were teaching the galaxy the most important lesson of all, that the universe was better when everyone worked together to make it a little bit more like home.